Welcome everyone. The Brickyard 100. A lot of cars taking part in tonight's event. 28 cars trying to set their starting place. You saw qualifying take part there earlier. Now it's time for heat race number 1, and here is the starting lineup for heat race number 1. Noah Belleville and Nicholas Seigler sitting on the front row. Seigler, the newest driver in the field, alongside Belleville and that number 41 machine. Nick Pressey, his first start in the season in the A-Square Cup Series. He'll start in third place alongside Jacob Blegichup, the current points leader. Steph Wansing and Tom Sears in row 3. They'll make up that row together. Thomas Andrews and Bradley Wright in row number 4. Row 5, Justin Painter and Tristan Catania. Tommy Withers and Ryan Pinnell in row 6. And then Jason Alexander in the last row of the field. Brand new track, so we don't have the track map loaded up at the moment. You can see 2.6 mile track, 2.6 mile infield road course. The updated version of Indianapolis Motor Speedway's road course section. 80 degrees is the ambient air temperature. 111 is the track temperature. So it's a very hot, very slick track. Very hot conditions and slightly humid, so it's going to be a little bit sticky. Going to be challenging conditions for everyone as we get ready to go here. And off we begin to roll. For the first time of 4, there'll be 3 heat races to determine the starting grid for the main event tonight, and then the 100-mile race itself. So we will kind of walk everyone through some of the new features of this Indianapolis Motor Speedway road course as we get ready to roll here. The pace car will roll off. This entire section is new. For those that are familiar with the Indianapolis road course in iRacing, the older road course, the 09 variant, didn't have the chicane. It used the oval turn 1. But now it's been modernized. Green flag in the air, so racing has begun. So you can break the best for turn 1. Turn 1 is different. A little bit further down, a little bit sharper than what we saw in the old form of the track. Everyone seems to have made it through pretty well and safe. As Belleville tries to walk away here. This part of the track is also different. The biggest difference will be the inclusion of this flick chicane. That was turns 5 and 6, going down towards Holman Boulevard. There was a little loop that was bypassed with that chicane. Then this part's been different. They added runoff. They've added a bit more forgiving corners here. This was a switchback. Now it's a bit of more of an S-curve chicane. It's been repaved. But this tricky part of the track now is what they're approaching right now. The motorcycle chicane is what it was initially started out as. It's been since widened and simplified for stock cars, for open wheel race cars, and for GT cars for endurance racing, all of which will be at the track next year. First lap in the books. Belleville out in front, Seigler in second, exactly how they started Wanzing is ahead of Pressy, so that's Wanzing in third, Pressy in fourth. Blankenship rounds out the top 5 with 2 to go in heat race number 1. Very short heats. These heats are typically time limited, but they're also lap limited. No cautions thrown during the heat races. I don't expect many cautions, if any, to be thrown at all tonight. So it will be a very straightforward event. Seigler doing a really good job holding on to Belleville. Again, for those that are new to the A Square Cup Series, this heat determines the top, I would say, rows 2 through 7 on the inside. So positions 3, 5, 7, 9, and that was, I believe that was Wanzing that locked up. It was Wanzing that locked up. That number 9, now back behind Pressy, who runs in the 94 here. But heat race 1 determines the inside of rows 2 through 7. Heat race number 2, which comes up after this, determines the outside of those rows. And then the last heat race, or the last chance qualifier, determines everyone down the grid from 15th on down. And that's how the race is. So it's sort of like the Daytona duels, but with an extra little caveat in the mix. But the white flag is in the air. Belleville just has to hold on for another 2.6 miles to lock himself in as a third place starter for the main event tonight. Put him in a really good spot. Seigler set the fastest lap. Not by much, but it is the fastest lap of the heat so far. Dan right on the heels of that number 41 machine. Pressy sits third, Wanzing fourth. Everyone's still rolling around. Alexander, Sears, and Withers seem to have had some sort of issue, but they are still very much, they're not going to go a lap down here. These lap times are 1 minute 30s. So there's still a minute to the good. But Belleville's going to come almost out of the oval section here with a couple corners left to go. On the old track, this was, from this point here, it was a straight shot all the way through oval turn 1 to the front straightaway. But now you've got this extra braking zone. Seigler could have used that as a braking opportunity to really get close. But Belleville's going to come out of the final corner. He's going to win the first heat. Belleville crosses the line with Seigler in tow. Good job by Belleville and Seigler. Pressy maintains third ahead of Wanzing. So Pressy will start in the 7th spot. Wanzing will start 9th. Blankenship will start in the 11th spot. Thomas Andrews will start in 13th for the main event tonight. Here's Jason Alexander. He's behind Tommy Withers in that number 6 machine, that Castrol machine. Tom Sears just crossed the line. Withers and Alexander both just overshot the last corner. All right, now this is going to be an interesting heat race here. So here's the second heat race. We're on race 22 at 36. Don't let the graphic lie to you. Jeremy Breo and Tommy Reynolds on the front row of this heat race. Team Sideswipe teammates will line up alongside each other to lead this off. Brandon Fetterplace and Donald Ray will make up row number 2. Bren Roberts and Josh Garrison in row number 3. Kevin Feemster, Terry Gabbard in row number 4. Row 5 is Jonathan Hohenbrink and John Smeal. You have Cody Pennell and Nick Fisher in row 6. Patrick Allen rounds out the field in 13th place. So, going to be interesting seeing who all ends up advancing in the top 6 here. A lot of really good drivers, a lot of really good road course drivers in the conversation here. They are rolling, so we will get a camera on them here. There we go. new look for Jeremy Breo. Jeremy Breo has so many cool schemes. This one's the Coca-Cola Starlight machine, made by Smeel Racing Designs. You have Arrow Mark number 7 of Tommy Reynolds, the Sonoma race winner. You have Brandon Fetterplace and Donald Ray. Donald Ray and the American number 5 machine. Fetterplace and the Bang Energy number 80. Then you have Bryn Roberts in the number 58 and Joshua Garrison in the 46. Really cool cars in this field. Only 6 advance to the main event from here. It's almost showtime. Green flag in the air. We are racing. Everyone's approaching turns 1 and 2. Better place, hot on the brakes, almost too hot on the brakes. Held on to third place there. Surprised he did. Roberts with a little bit of landscaping, side by side with Garrison. There's Gabbard in the 4, side by side with Garrison. Gabbard and Garrison make a little bit of contact, but everyone thinks so far so good. Oh, and now it's not. And that was a head-on contact for Terry Gabbard. Right across the nose of Garrison. Those Garrison out of the top 6 pretty firmly. Top 6 did belong to Kevin Feemster, however, briefly. Now it's Hohenbrink in that 6th spot. At the front, 3-way battle at the front. Breo, Reynolds, and Fetterplace. Teammates battling at the front. Fetterplace dropped back a little bit. Donald Ray still sitting in 4th. Britton Roberts in 5th. Cody Pinnell's up to 6th. There's Cody Pinnell in 28th. He's going to head to Hohenbrink for that last transfer spot. Gabbard in pit lane. His heat race is over. He'll have to wait for the next heat race, the last chance qualifier. Demille in 8th. Beamster in 9th. Garrison in 10th. Then you have Patrick Allen in 11th, and then Nick Fisher in 12th. Hohenbrink's had an issue. Hohenbrink is far off the track. That is before the oval. He'll drop down to 8th. Reyes at the fastest lap, a 1:30.14 over Tommy Reynolds and Brandon Fetterplace. Donald Ray, again, sitting in distant 4th at the moment compared to these top 2. Chasing each other down Holman Boulevard now. Very tidy through the S turns here. Going into the chicane. That was a really hot braking zone by Reynolds. Reynolds into the grass. Kept from looping, but he won't get the heat race win. Now we go to Breo. Jeremy Breo will win the heat race number 2. He'll start in 4th place for the main event tonight. Reynolds 2nd, Federer place 3rd, Ray 4th. Roberts will come home in 5th place. Pretty easy heat race for Roberts there. And then Cody Pennell in 6th will take the last transfer spot. So this is a bit unusual. That was an interesting end of that one. It's Patrick Allen. So the reason why we're still under a timer at the moment is because Patrick Allen never crossed the finish line. What's the lap? What's the time? Okay, it's just gonna force it. Cool. All right, I was about to laugh. All right, so here it is, the last chance qualifier, determining positions 15 on down. The top 14 spots have been determined by qualifying and the first 2 heat races. So here we go again. Bradley Wright and John Smeal on the front row this time, with Tristan Catania and Kevin Feemster on row 2. Tom Sears and Joshua Garrison in row 3. Tommy Withers and Jonathan Homebrink in row 4. Jason Alexander, Nick Fisher in row 5. Row 6, Dustin Painter and Patrick Allen. Row 7 will be Terry Gabbard. So here we go. So we are rolling for the 3rd time. Getting ready to go here. It's Bradley Wright and John Smeal on the front row. Who's starting where? 15th on down. This could get interesting. Alrighty, out of the final corner towards the start-finish line. Green flag is in the air. We're racing at Indianapolis for the third time. We'll have one more start to take, and that's the main event in a little bit. Everyone pretty easy on into turn one. Tom Sears has looped it. He'll drop back. He's not the only one. John Smeal has also been turned. Sears up to 11th, Hunbrink in 10th. Watch out, Patrick Allen! Right in front of most of the field. Alexander's just been turned by Tom Sears. This is a disaster. That was Garrison that got tagged by Patrick Allen. Got tagged right in the door. But he's running right now in 6th spot. Gabbard's in 5th. Nick Fisher up in 4th. Ahead of, right behind Catania, Withers, and Riley Wright. Going through turns 1 and 2 here. It's still Riley Wright over Withers and Catania. Withers actually just took the lead with the spin from Riley Wright. Throws him down to 3rd. Gabbard too far away to really take advantage of it to get 3rd away. So Wright is rolling once again. But now it's Withers leading the last chance qualifier ahead of Catania, Wright, Gabbard, and then Feemster leading the cavalry behind him. Whoa, who was that spun? It was Gabbard that spun. In front of Fisher, that's Garrison, and that's Steers that got through. Final lap underway. Withers pretty clearly in front at the moment. There's John Smeal coming out of pit lane. A new number for him. He's in the 44 this time around. He has been in the 50 for most of the season, but now he's in the 44. So Withers takes The last chance qualifier race win. Ahead of Catania and Wright. Feemster will end up in 4th place. There's Tom Sears behind him. Garrison will end up 6th. As we look further down, here's Nick Fisher. He'll finish 7th. Gabriel finished 8th. Merry-go-round race for him. Jason Alexander will be 9th place. Jonathan Homebrink will be 10th. Then 11th for Patrick Allen. And Dustin Painter will finish in the 12th spot. All right, 5-minute warm-up now underway. Everyone's got 5 minutes to warm up before we get ready for this main event here. So I'm going to step away, get something to drink. I encourage everyone watching to do the same. I will be back for the Brickyard 100. Alrighty, it's showtime here in Indianapolis. Joshua Gaiman on the front row, our pole sitter for tonight, alongside Toby Estes. They'll make up the front row. Behind them, it's Noah Belleville and Jeremy Breo, with Nicholas Seigler and Tommy Reynolds in row number 3. Nick Pressey and Brandon Fetterplace in row number 4. Row 5 belongs to Seth Wansing and Donald Ray. Row 6, Jacob Blankenship will be alongside Bren Roberts, a pair of Indy ARCS drivers in the field. There's 3 drivers in the top 12 that are full-time drivers in Indy ARCS. Nick Pressey in 7th. Donald Ray, a part-time Indy ARCS driver, in 10th. Wansing in 9th. So a lot of road course experience in that top 12 on top of Gaiman and Estes on the front row. Breo as well. How could I forget Breo sitting in 4th place as we get ready to go here. You see everyone from high above there for a brief moment, going through the camera angles, looking down through the rest of the grid. Thomas Andrews and Cody Pennell make up row number 7. Row 8 belongs to Tommy Withers and Tristan Catania. Those were the front 2 in the last chance qualifiers. Someone has spun in the warm-up lane. That was approaching the second chicane. Not sure who it was, but it's caught out Wansing, it's caught out Fisher, and it might have caught out more. They have not extended the formation lap, so we are still going green here. But that's interesting. But looking through the rest of the field, we have Wright and Feemster, row 9. Row 10 is Sears and Garrison. Fisher and Gabbard, row 11. Alexander and Hohenbrink, row number 12. Allen, Painter, and Smeal round out the 27. Ryan Pennell not starting this event. It's going to be a jumbled up field. But it's going to be Josh Gaiman and Toby Estes leading the field of green. 27 cars running. A lot of cars approaching the Yard of Bricks. Green flag is out. And away we go. Wheel spin for Toby Estes. Puts him 3 wide immediately with Jeremy Breo and Noah Belleville as they all approach turn number 1. Very careful on the brakes there, but the concern really is further behind. That's where all the calamity lives. Did everyone make it through okay? Is the big question. Low slag, and no, not further down. That's Bradley Wright off in the sand. Bradley Wright and Josh Garrison off in the sand. Chaos further back. Trying to keep track of everything. There's Roberts. He just got tagged by Fetterplace, and he will go around with help of Cody Pennell as well. Didn't completely spin it, but he will lose a lot of track position here as he tries to rejoin. No join behind Jason Alexander in the 53. And Alexander immediately goes wide, and Tom Sears spun. So did Cody Pennell. A frantic first lap. So Catania's down in 21st spot. Couldn't be in 21st. Here, Gaiman is in the race lead. So our timing has had a significant issue. See if we can get it to reset here, because that is not correct. We're going to reboot our live timing here, see if we can get you an update, because Garrison is the race leader. By and far the race leader. Actually, no Belleville is, but Gaiman is second. So, there we go. Now it's corrected. So, Belleville now out in front. Gaiman in second. Belleville's got some pretty serious pace to him. See if Gaiman can respond. Reynolds in third. He's up 3 spots. Estes in fourth. Steigler is where he started in fifth. Blankenship's up 3 spots in sixth. Tommy Withers is up 15 spots from where he started. He is sitting now in the top 10. The first 2 laps right now belong to Noah Belleville, with Josh Gaiman in tow with the fastest lap of the race so far, a 129.9. 2 cars out. 1 car didn't start. Ryan Pinnell didn't start. Actively serving his suspension from New Hampshire. He'll be back and available for next week's race. Patrick Allen, the first car officially out of this race. Nick Fisher, the last car rolling, but 2 laps down, part of the calamity on the opening lap, the opening melee. It's Belleville, Gaiman, Reynolds top 3. Estes down to 4th. He's lost 2 spots. Again, Withers the biggest gainer so far, up 15 spots from where he started among all the chaos. He was able to keep his nose clean and drive his way through the field. Phenomenal work for him so far. The 26 cars still running. And these 2 are walking away from Tommy Reynolds. Both of them ran at least 1 second quicker, as Reynolds completely overshot turn 1. And now he's got to try to somehow get it turned back around. See, there's a little escape route. Fisher's in it, and Fisher's been stationary. But you see how much it cost Reynolds off the bat. He's now down behind Nick Pressey. And Pressey actually had to short the chicane there, that flick chicane. They don't have to give time there, so he'll drop behind Jeremy Breo. But Reynolds now down to 6th from 3rd. Estes now up to 3rd. But again, a lot of gap now. 4 seconds between him and Gaiman. They were the front row. Belleville's still up front as they try to complete lap 4 of 41 here at Indianapolis. You have Nick Seigler sitting in the 4th spot, the number 8 machine. And then that is Jacob Blankenship in the 85, battling with him. Everything's sort of spreading out a little bit here. Should be a pretty consistent race. There are stage breaks, as there are in every other air squared race. Stage break at the end of lap 10 and lap 20. So everyone has a chance to regroup at least twice in this race. Looking at Blankenship in the top 5 ahead of Reynolds. Breo's in 7th, Pressey in 8th, Fetterplace in 9th, Wanzing's in 10th. You see the gap between Fetterplace and Wanzing for that top 10. Withers in 11th, Robertson 12th, Kevin Beamster 13th, John Smeal 14th, 15th for Tom Sears, 16th for Bradley Wright, Donald Ray down in 17th. Then you have Cody Pinnell, who got spun out on lap 1. Jonathan Homebrink in 19th, Thomas Andrews in 20th, Terry Gabber 21st, Catania off in the sand in 22nd, Garrison 23rd, Alexander 24th, Painter 25th. He is the last car on the lap. Fisher a lap down. We saw him sitting on the exit on the escape route out of turn 1. But here's the race leaders completing lap 5. Again, lap 10. The end of lap 10 is when the stage break is called to end stage 1. Withers has crashed, and so has Painter, it looks like. Looks like Withers, if he has had any issues, it has been a simple spin. I don't believe he's actually crashed, nor do I believe that Painter's crashed. I don't believe Painter has crashed at all. See if we can pivot to him. Oh, he actually has gone off. That is approaching the oval re-entry on the short shoot. So he's down in 25th, just kind of hanging on. Trying to stay on the lead lap if he can. Battle for the race lead. It's Gaiman and Belleville. Gaiman trying to get his lead back. He started on pole position, but has not led a lap so far. Belleville trying to hold on to the S's. More low-speed cornering for these cars before they rejoin the oval. Right now, Gaiman has the preferred line. You want to be on the inside. You want to have that apex for that first. As Belleville hanging it all out there. Belleville actually defends really well going into this motorcycle chicane. So he'll hold on to the race lead still, but the tire is definitely not underneath him in the back of that car. That Ford, both Fords, kind of letting it all hang out at the front of the field. They've got 4 seconds in hand with 4 laps to go in stage 1. So they can kind of afford to let it all hang out a little bit, knowing that a caution and an ability to pit for tires and fuel is coming up here in a few laps. Here we go. See what Gaiman can do here. He's applying a lot more pressure this lap through the flick chicane onto Holman Boulevard. Gaiman under braking, not as confident that time as Belleville was, but Belleville might have overshot a little bit. The S's, once again, they're not afraid to go side by side through the S's. Some drivers can't pull that off. Belleville and Gaiman 100% can. Whoa, Belleville's overshot it. This gives Gaiman an opportunity. Belleville still on the inside lane, but momentum now belongs to the 61. Gaiman is right there. And he will go to the outside. He'll force Belleville to the bottom. They've lost a second to Estes and Seigler. But Estes and Seigler have their own little battle. You see them wiggling back and forth. A little bit of defensive driving there from Estes. Belleville still leads. But it seems like it's a matter of time before Gaiman does apply enough pressure for Belleville to make a mistake. He's already made one minor one. And any bigger of a mistake, and Belleville's slipping down to at least second, maybe third or fourth. Very impressive driver in that number 41 machine. Podiumed in his season return at Richmond. And has been a consistent presence whenever he's been available. He's been consistently a threat in the top 10. Especially right now, leading this race. Doing a phenomenal job. Whoa, Gaiman almost got loose there. Rejoining the oval out of what was oval turn 1. Lost a little bit of time there. It's 4/10. 2 to go in stage 1. Again, side by side, this battle for the lead, really enticing. And it's allowed Estes and Seigler to catch up. If only they had started battling sooner, maybe Estes and Seigler would both be in this conversation. Seigler on his debut doing a phenomenal job in the number 8 machine. Now catching up to, I believe that is Nicholas Fisher in the 89. He is already off the lead lap. He's not the first one to lap down, I don't believe. That would be Thomas Andrews in the 2 car. So the 2 car would get the lucky dog position when the caution comes out to end stage 1 as it currently sits. Dustin Painter still 10 seconds up the road from going a lap down and doesn't seem to be running the pace slow enough to be lapped this time. Fisher blew turn 1, stayed out of the way of the race leaders. That may have been more of a godsend for Belleville. Gaiman so much more confident through this section of the track. Allows him to get right to the bumper of Belleville. You know Gaiman's not going to move him out of the way right now, but if these two are battling again at the end of the race, there might be a chrome horn applied. Belleville takes the line away. Gaiman tight underneath of him as Belleville almost loses it. Really good battling between Belleville and Gaiman. This has been a fantastic battle at the front of the field. Absolutely wild. This is class so far. Absolute class. Belleville and Gaiman both coming through the chicane to end stage 1. Belleville close to the wall that time. Into stage 1. Belleville holds on to it. Magisterial defensive driving from Belleville to hold on to that race lead. Estes will be 3rd, Seigler 4th, Blanchett 5th, Breo 6th, Pressey in 7th, Better Place 8th, Wanzing 9th, and Reynolds 10th. For those that are scoring stage points. The stage 1 belongs to Noah Belleville. Goes by the odd nickname, the Moldy Muskrat, but right now he is shining clean as a diamond here at the Indianapolis Road Course for the Brickyard 100. Phenomenal stuff by the 41. Again, they're having to make another lap around here to catch up to the safety car since they had taken the start-finish line before the checkered flag, before the yellow flag had been thrown. So, just an additional lap behind, or additional lap under a full course caution here at Indianapolis. Thomas Andrews will get the lucky dog position here. So there will be 24 on the lead lap when we go back at it. 25, excuse me, I believe. Kevin Feemster will be on lead lap 2, so it'll be 25. I wonder, are the first stage break? Belleville gave it an Estes with top 3 in stage 1. Can they repeat it for stage 2? We will find out here. We'll also find out who's going to be pitting under this stage break, who needs tires, and who's going to try to wait until stage 2 to take those tires to get halfway through this race. A lot of questions we get to find out here in a few seconds once everyone gets to pit entry, who all comes in and who doesn't. I'm assuming most of the field will come in here, but I've been wrong before. So interestingly enough, not everyone pit under this caution. Pressey, Roberts, Gabbard, and Wright all stayed out. Which to me is bizarre. Because we saw how much Belleville and Gaiman were letting it loose. It'll be interesting to see how that pans out. Belleville actually... Oh, not everyone took tires. Interesting. Interesting. So a lot of people feel confident with the tires. They just wanted the fuel. That's a really interesting conversation that I think we'll see how it plays out. Again, for those that are joining us, we are under the first stage break here at Indianapolis. A few cars stayed out. Pressey, Roberts, Gabbard, and Wright all stayed out. Our pole sitter, Joshua Gaiman, in your screen, the first car to pit, but he took fuel only. And he's not the only one that did. So that is a very interesting strategy call made by some of these drivers here. Very different strategies. A lot of drivers took tires, but some didn't, and some didn't pit at all. That is, I think, the most interesting, layering to this race so far is that not everyone seems like they need tires right now, which is baffling to me because this is a very demanding track on tires. Doesn't matter if it's open wheel or stock car. So I wonder what some of these drivers are feeling in that car right now to make them not so concerned about the tire wear going into stage 2. I'm going double file here, which means we're about to go racing once again at the Brickyard. Honestly, the more I think about it, the smarter this might be. Stage 2 is only going to be 6 green flag laps. If you can hang on, that's some stage points. But you have to hold on 6 laps here. This is a 2.6 mile road course. It's not an oval. These aren't 20-second lap times. This is a minute 30 lap. At best. Now, those that hadn't picked, Presley, Roberts, Gabbard, and Wright, Presley's the only one that even set a 130 in stage 1. Roberts set a 131.8. Gabbard a 133.8. Bradley Wright a 134.2. For Presley, this is fantastic because it's roadblocks for Gaiman and for Wright. For Gaiman, not for Wright, for Estes, it's a nightmare. Absolute nightmare. But this initial restart could be absolute chaos. And we saw Toby Estes, he already will spun once on the initial start. It's easy to do. So this is going to be an interesting restart for, I think, everybody involved in one shape or another. Pace car running down the pit lane. Waiting for that restart zone. And away we go. We're racing once again. Pressy with an amazing start. That was a thunderous start. Gaiman looks to the inside of Gabbard. And this will be trouble. That's Reynolds around. Reynolds somehow saved it. Some other... How have they not stacked up immediately? Well, there's Tom Sears. Tom Sears with damage on the back of the number 14 machine. And still struggling to put the power down. So Pressy now in front. Gaiman's cleared Bren Roberts. A little bit further back. How Reynolds saved that spin in turn 1 is beyond me. Because it hurt Fetterplace more. Fetterplace was in Fetterplace dropped down to 13th. He dropped all the way outside of the top 10. Oh, there's Reynolds. Reynolds has gone around. Ask and ye shall receive. Reynolds had to wait for everyone to go by, so he's now down in 23rd. Pressy ahead of Gaiman. We sort of browsed over it. Belleville's down in 10th place. Our stage 1 race winner, nowhere to be seen, took 4 tires and fuel on that first stage. Gaiman did not. Did not feel he needed to, and I don't blame him. He's got confidence in that number 61 Ford. Pressy trying to send it down to the inside. The Pressy down in second. It's Josh Gaiman at the front of the field. And now he can kind of just walk away. He's got 4 laps left in stage 2. See, Bryn Roberts sitting in 3rd. Breo's up to 4th, so good on him. He did take 4 tires on that last pit stop, and that did benefit him tremendously. It benefited Jacob Blankenship as well. 85 is right there too, our points leader. Right there in the conversation. There's Gabbard getting passed by Estes here. Gabbard, again, did not pit during stage 1. People cheering for Donald Ray and Joshua Gaiman in the chat. If you're a fan of Joshua Gaiman, your man's leading. Donald Ray, on the other hand, has not had the most straightforward race. Sitting 12th, not a bad run for Donald Ray in that number 5 machine, as he tries to stay in front of Brandon Fetterplace, but not in the stage points paying positions at the moment. A move on Withers does not work. Fetterplace will take 12th away from Ray here if it holds through the chicane, as Withers actually goes down pit lane. So does Nick Pressey. Gaiman just at the fastest lap of the race, 129.2. Robertson second. He has not pit yet. I wonder if it's a fuel issue or a tire issue. But a lot of those that did not pit under the first stage break are pitting now. Breo in 3rd. Blanchett 4th. Estes in 5th. Belleville in 6th. Wansing in 7th. Wright in 8th. Belleville dropped down the order, and I didn't see this before. Belleville had damage that needed to be repaired. I believe he tagged the wall and had some sort of suspension damage that they had to fix on pit lane. So he spent 50 seconds on pit lane for them to switch out whatever those parts were that needed fixed, as Wansing locks up at the end of Holman Boulevard. But Wansing sitting 7th in the stage points positions where he wants to be. But that's why Belleville dropped so far down the orders, because he had damage repair. So he's already back up to the top 6. Doing a phenomenal job. It's not even close to over for him. He's actually running the heels of Toby Estes. Excuse me. Estes doing a phenomenal job right now in the top 5. If Bryn Roberts is able to stay out all the way, it'll be interesting to see how much he can actually defend here. Breo on the attack here. This is for 2nd place. 3 cars in the conversation. Roberts, Breo, and Blankenship. Breo moves to the outside for turn 1, and Roberts is going to let him have it. You see, there's the 85. A lot of darker colored cars for this week's race. But Breo takes 2nd. I believe Roberts will not hold up Blankenship too awful much here. Friendly competitors in Indy Arcs on Wednesday nights. Belleville had a penalty. All right. Well, that makes even more sense. Ooh, it could have been a speeding penalty. That's a fair point. I didn't think about that. Tom Sears, another issue for Tom Sears. Toby Estes has actually crashed. What's happened to Toby Estes? Something significant happened to Toby Estes. He's coming out of pit lane now. He was running 5th. So put Belleville back up in the top 5. Wansing 6th, Fetterplace 7th, Cody Pennell in 8th, Nicholas Seigler in 9th, and Bradley Wright in the 10th spot. Looks like a crash between Withers and Gabbard and maybe Andrews. These are all further down. They have not crashed. That's just a lie on our telemetry screen. Gaiman has lapped them, though. 19 cars on lead lap. He's looking at putting Garrison a lap down. Garrison at the number 46, right in front of the blue and yellow for Gaiman. A couple of 2-1-3 somewhere machines. Gaiman's a tribute to the fight going on in Ukraine. Garrison's a tribute to Days of Thunder, the number 46 machine. City Chevrolet machine in Days of Thunder that Tom Cruise drove. Although, ironically, Tom Cruise never drove a Dodge. Funny that. I'm being pedantic more than anything else. This will be the end of stage 2. Joshua Gaiman takes it. He lets Josh Garrison stay on the lead lap. But stage 2 comes to an end. Gaiman, the lead winner of stage 2. Ahead of Breo. Roberts held on for 3rd place. Really good job by Bren Roberts to hold on to that P3. So it did work out for him. Blanchip in 4th. Noah Belleville in 5th. Wanzing sitting in 6th. Fetter place in the 7th spot. Cody Pennell 8th. Nick Seigler in 9th. And Briley Wright, the last stage point, in 10th, right ahead of Tommy Reynolds. So we're going to rack them up again, and we're going to get ready for stage 3 here. See who all bites for stage. I'm assuming everyone's going to bite for pit lane here in stage 2 no matter what. Because stage 3 is 21 laps, beginning now. So this will be the longest stage of the race by far. If you had trouble in stage 1 and 2, you're definitely going to need tires and fuel to start, at least to start stage 3. You do not want to skimp out here. You do not want to throw yourself further behind. I guess a couple of those further behind might. You look at Pressy, you look at Garrison. They put on lap 17. S put on lap 19. So I guess you could, if you're them, you could pass it off, knowing that everyone has to pit here at some point. I would still just come in. Put yourself on the same playing field and work from there. You don't want to put yourself behind the 8 ball. That was Nick Fisher entering pit lane. Not sure what for, but pit lane is not open because the race leader has not caught up to the pace car. Alrighty. Here we are getting ready to go back to green at the end of this lap. It is Donald Ray and Nick Pressey at the front of the field. They did not pit under this caution. We kind of expected that would be the case. Ray has not pit since the first stage. Pressey pit on lap 17. Same with Josh Garrison. Everyone else from Gaiman on down pit on lap 22 under the second stage break. So, here we go again. 21 cars on the lead lap. This is for all the marbles now. Again, Gaiman, it's Ray, Pressey, and Garrison and Gaiman in row 2. This is going to be interesting. Nick Fisher with the comment, the Indy Road is hard. It is hard, especially in these cars. It is extremely difficult in these cars. But who's going to be the best at it? Stage 1 was won by Belleville. Stage 2 was won by Gaiman. Who's going to take this race win? Pace car in pit lane. As they go through the last chicane, Ray decides to go early. Fair enough. Green flag back in the air where we're racing at Indy Road Course. The Brickyard 100, stage 3 begins here. It's Ray, then Pressey, then Gaiman. As you look a little further down, a lot of lockups. Further on down the order. Blankenship's gone tumbling. That's why. Blankenship down. He'll lose a bunch of spots. Down to 18th at a points leader. Sitting well on down the order. Race leader Donald Ray. Then it's Nick Pressey, then Josh Gaiman. And then Jimmy Breo in 4th place. Right now, Donald Ray holding on to the race lead. Pressey doing a really good job holding on to 2nd place. Ray almost lost it. Pressey to the point, and he will get in the game and trying to get back under the power. So bad to worse in an instant for Donald Ray. Older tires caught him out there. As now it's Pressey, then Breo, then Gaiman. See how bad the damage is on Gaiman's car, that number 61. Sitting in 3rd place, Belleville up to 4th. See if we can get a good spot of the damage on the left side of that car. A little bit of damage on the 61. Doesn't seem to be anywhere near race altering, but we've seen less damage result in some pretty bad stuff. Importantly though, Belleville now clear of Cody Pennell. Now 5th. Garrison in 6th. Then you have Bryn Roberts in the 7th spot, Tom Reynolds 8th, Donald Ray down in 9th. And then Seth Wansing in 10th place. Brandon Fetter place in 11th, and it's Bradley Wright and Tristan Catani are top 13. All eyes right now on Nick Pressey. Can he hold off Jeremy Breo? Can he hold off Joshua Gaiman? Can he hold off Noah Belleville here in stage 3? I believe he's still got a pit stop in this race. And it's really unusual seeing a GTR on a stock car body. Really peculiar. But Breo really good through this chicane where you need fresher tires. Again, Pressy up hit on 17. He 5 laps before everyone else. Pressy trying to defend the bottom. Very much an open wheel move. But Breo's got, again, fresher tires means so much right now. And Breo's not afraid to put the bumper. Like, that's something you got to be aware of with Breo. We've seen it multiple times this season. He's not afraid to put elbows out and kind of move people up out of the way. One of the best, I think, bump and run drivers, I think, in the field. He's really good at it, really efficient at it, and he's capable of doing it in so many subtle ways. And it's just easier to do on a road course. But Breo's also got to be careful because if he spends too much time behind Pressy, he's going to get passed by Gaiman. But if he makes a mistake trying to pass Pressy, then he gets passed by Gaiman. And we know that Gaiman will kind of walk away, as I believe someone spun. That was Joshua Garrison that spun, as Pressy gets passed for the race lead. Momentarily, we'll see how they battle coming into the motorcycle chicane. Pressy will lose first and second on the rip. He'll drop down to third. Garrison did spin. He has recovered, but he's down to ninth. So it's ninth place for Garrison. Pressy down to third. Breo now back on point, but now the battle really begins between Breo and Gaiman. And if they battle anywhere near as hard as Gaiman and Belleville did at the beginning of the race, then this could be quite an electric affair here in Indianapolis to end this race. Pressy's still not staying too far away, which is exciting. So that's I think the really intriguing part about this right now. As Gaiman looks to the inside of Breo, these two are the two fastest in practice. And they'll be side by side through the S's. Again, a lot of side-by-side racing here. Very respectable. Breo holds on to the race lead. A massive lockup by Pressy in third, but he's trying to stay with these top two. He's trying to hang in there. Right now it's Breo in front, then Gaiman in second place. They're going to try to walk away from Pressy on older tires. Belleville sitting and waiting for somebody to fall into his lap. Belleville so strong at the braking too. We just saw that as we swept away from turn one. Belleville just hot on the brakes into turn one. One of the best at that particular part of the track. Ooh, interesting line difference there between Breo and Gaiman. And Gaiman almost lost it. How he saved that is beyond me. But that looked like that was a bunch of takeoff to the stars. And instead, Gaiman held onto it and only lost about a second. He's built different. Gaiman doing a phenomenal job. Phenomenal recovery there. Cody Pennell, he's sitting in fifth place, doing a really good job for him. Donald Ray in sixth. So a good recovery drive for him right now after the contact there at the beginning of stage 3. You see a little bit of the door damage on the right side of that number 5. Excuse me, left side of number 5. Driver's side. He's defending from Wanzing. Better place right there in 8th in that Toyota Camry, the number 80. Brennan Roberts in the 9th place car. Garrison in 10th. Jacob Blankenship, our points leader, in the 11th spot. Then it's Bradley Wright, Tommy Reynolds, Toby Estes, Nick Seigler. Catania in 16th, Dustin Painter 17th, Thomas Andrews in 18th, and it's Alexander and Smeal rounding out the top 20. Tom Sears, the first car, 1 lap down. Not very often we say that about Tom Sears, but he has been lapped by everybody. He has had issues. He has a clean car now. He's used his fast repair, but a very rough start to stage 3 has thrown him all the way down to 21st place. It's Breo and Gaiman walking away from Pressy. Pressy's got 4 seconds now between the top 2, as Breo almost completely lost it. Really good save. Clipped the grass there on the entry to the chicane. So Gaiman back into the fray, making up all the time that he lost by almost losing it over the flick chicane. Nose the tail. Down the turn 1. Gaiman looks to the outside. Breo on the inside. How difficult does Breo make it? Breo makes it really difficult. Can you tell they're trying right now? Put on a really good show as Belleville now has his hands full with the 94. Both cars hot over the curbing. These flat floors are dying right now on these cars. You do that in an open wheel car like an Indy car or an F1 car, it is game over. These cars are tanks. Belleville has taken third away. That was happening right in the background out of Holman Boulevard. So Belleville up to third ahead of Pressy, and then Cody Pennell in the 5th spot. That's the top 5. Pennell's up 19 spots from where he started. Doing a phenomenal job in the number 28. Battle side by side for the race lead still. Can't leave this for too awful long because they're still going at it. Still side by side through the chicane, through the final corner. Who's got the better drive out of the corner? Looks like it might be Gaiman. Gaiman leads this lap, but side drafts by Breo, trying to keep him in tow. Who's braver under braking? Breo is. Breo, very much braver under braking. He wants that race lead back, and he's going to go for it through turn 4. Really good stuff. Both of them stepping it out. Pair of Ford Mustangs trying to throw it around. Breo almost did what Gaiman did a couple laps ago. So now Gaiman's got a little bit of breathing space, 6/10 worth of breathing space. As now Belleville's clear and able to try to chase down the race leaders. Nick Siegler in the number 8 just had his personal best, the 30.52. Sorry, 90.52, minute 30. Donald Ray on pit lane. He could not make it up to the end on fuel. So in he comes in the number 5. There he is on pit lane as it stands at the moment, and he's going to be out and rolling again soon. He will not go a lap down. The lap times here at Indianapolis definitely not favoring getting lapped. You're pretty well set if you can stay on the lap before you pit. But I don't think Ray will be the only one coming down pit lane before this race is over. Gaiman's got 1.3 in hand to Jimmy Breo. It's 3.4 in hand to Noah Belleville in 3rd place. Pressy's had some sort of mistake. He's dropped down to 5th. Cody Pennell up to 4th. But we know Pressy might have to pit in this race still. Pressy, Garrison, and Andrews all pit before stage 2 ended. And you can only go about 20 laps on fuel. Yellow's out. Why did the yellow come out? That'll be an interesting question to have answered. So the first caution for what I believe is an incident. We just don't know what incident caused the yellow. So what happened to Fisher? I'm not sure what caused the yellow to come out. Oh, it was an accidental press. Oops. That's not good. Because that dramatically alters this race. That dramatically alters this race. That is going to be an interesting one. This is gonna be obviously. I don't expect anyone in the top 5 to. Well, it's gonna be hard. Pressy would be the only one I think that would pit, but I don't think he will now. He would have had to have pit had the yellow not come out. Pressy would have had to pit. I think Gaiman would have had to pit. No, not Gaiman. Garrison. And Garrison just pit. And Garrison actually pit before the yellow came out. So the only cars that are out still that need to pit would be Pressy and Andrews, the 2 car. Everyone else pit on the stage break for stage 3, so they could theoretically go to the end from here. That's a really interesting dilemma. Because it's going to throw us with, I think, 6 laps to go? 5 laps to go for this restart? I almost want, like, if I were in a driver's perspective here, I would say screw it and pit. Like, obviously for Gaiman and Breo, it's not that easy. Because by the time you know what everyone's doing, you've already passed pit entry. But if I'm someone, like, if I'm someone else, like, outside the top 5, oh, I'm coming in. Easy. Easy. Get some fresh tires and abuse the crap out of them. That'd be the easiest decision on the planet. Nobody did it, though. Which is crazy to me. I guess it's part of the reason why I'm in the booth and not a driver. But I would have so taken that gamble. I would have taken that gamble in a heartbeat. Give me that battle. Give me that gamble and give me that charge to the field. I live for that. So a lot of drivers did come in here. So now some of them have come in. Estes, Andrews, Catania, Painter, Smeel, Hohenbrink, and Feemster have all come in. There's Tom Sears. He got the lucky dog. He was the first car off the lead lap. So he will be back on the lead lap. Gracious, grateful. He's probably thankful for that one because he's like, okay, now I can actually gain some spots here. For Gaiman and Breo, this is gonna be. This sucks for Gaiman and Breo because now Belleville's there. Belleville's right there, and he was hanging toe to toe with Gaiman to begin with. Oh, that's rough. That's so rough for Gaiman. He has to be money on this restart. So this is gonna be an interesting restart, which we will be going green with 5 to go. So that is a confirm here. Alrighty. 1 lap to green for what we hope is the last restart of this race. It's been a very entertaining race so far. Far less chaotic than we thought it was going to be. I think everyone across the board thought it was going to be crazy. So it's Gaiman, Breo, Pennell, Belleville. Yeah, Pressey, Wansing, Fetterplace, Roberts, Reynolds, Blankenship, Wright, and Seigler. Your top 12, top 6 rows. "21 cars on the lead lap. 25 still running. So who's gonna win the Brickyard 100? This is going to be an interesting restart. It is on Gaiman's control here. Pace car is in pit lane. Anytime between now and the start-finish line is legal. And Gaiman goes now. We're green flag back in the air, racing once again at Indianapolis. Heavy braking, Belleville looked to the inside. Brave braking for the 41. Can he chase down Joshua Gaiman? Does it spin a spin? Believe it was John Smeal. It was John Smeal. He's still pointing backwards, trying to get out of the way. But Josh Gaiman trying to walk away. He's got a second and 2/10 between him and Noah Belleville. Battle for 5th place, I believe. No, battle for 4th between Pressy and Pennell, and then there's Seth Wansing there. As Pressy goes off. Wild spin for the 94. Throws him all the way down outside the top 20. Battle for 2nd. Belleville and Breo. As Gaiman locked it up. Tried to keep it from running wide. Really good job to do so. But now it's side by side for 2nd place. Breo will take 2nd place away with ease. Though he's lost 1.4 seconds more in the battle. 4 to go. Only 3 DNFs in this race. So again, battle for 2nd place. It's Belleville, Breo, and now Cody Pennell in the conversation. Can he get into the podium mix? If Breo messes up like that again, maybe. Really aggressive on the curbing. Some curbs you could be aggressive with. That wasn't one of them. But Breo holds on to 3rd for the moment. Belleville trying to walk away and do something about it. A kiss of the wall by Breo, and he is struggling now mightily. That's 74. Trying to hold on to 3rd place for what it's worth. Three to go. It's Gaiman, Belleville, Breo, top 3. Reynolds battling with Cody Pennell for 4th place. You got 3 team sideswipe drivers all battling for the last podium spot. 4 of them. Seth Wansing in 6th. Oh, that was a painful curb for Breo. See if he has a slowdown penalty. See if he has a track limits violation there. Oh, boy. He's pushing really hard, trying to keep up with Belleville, but it's just not working out. Reynolds on the charge. Gaiman just set the fastest lap of the race of 128.75. That's disgusting. That's filthy. Yeah, he set sail. He's gone. It's just a matter of who's going to be battling for that 3rd spot. Who's got that podium set in stone? It's between 14 sideswipe drivers, and they do not go easy on each other at all. On track, I think they're more especially ruthless to each other than anybody else. 2 to go. Breo still trying to chase down Noah Belleville with Reynolds in pursuit. Every time they clobber that curb, especially that curb right there, yellow flag has come out again. What has happened? And Breo's come to a stop. What has happened here? Oh dear. So now we get an overtime finish. I guess that's one way to look at it. Jonathan Homebrink gets his lap back. So he will now be the 21st car on the lead lap. Huh. And now this is nightmare fuel for debris. It's a debris caution. The curbs are coming up. There you go. Everyone's running. It's that curb right there. That curb right there. Get yourself a debris caution. So now it's going to be a very interesting restart there between Gaiman and Belleville. No, again, no one's pitting this time. I don't think. I don't know. Maybe fuel could be an issue. Alrighty, so we're sitting on a green-white checkered restart here. Believe we're going to be going 1 to green this time. For everyone tuning in, it's been an interesting one. I think this restart could be the most interesting of the bunch. Alrighty. So 1 to green for an overtime finish here at Indianapolis. It's Joshua Gayman and Noah Belleville. A repeat of the battle we saw at stage 1. Tommy Reynolds and Cody Pennell, teammates for Team Sideswipe, make up row number 2. Nick Seigler on his debut is part of row 3 alongside the points leader Jacob Blankenship. Row 4, Bryn Roberts and Toby Estes. Row 5 is Joshua Garrison and Jason Alexander. Then you actually no, it's Josh Garrison and Brandon Fairplace. Jason Alexander's in row 6 with Thomas Andrews, who was a lap down at one point in this race. Donald Ray is in this conversation as well. Tristan Catania in 14th, Bradley Wright in 15th, Dustin Painter 16th, John Smeal 17th. He's been backwards twice today. Wansing, Sears, Pressey rounded out the top 20. Homebrink 21st. So here we go. Coming to the restart, what hopefully is the last restart of the night. "22 cars running out of 27 that took the green flag to start this race. Gayman's looking for his 4th career win this season. Belleville looking for his 1st win this season. Reynolds looking for his 2nd. Pennell looking for his 2nd. What a debut it'd be for Seigler if he could win on debut. Going through the chicane, through the final corner. Pace car is in pit lane. Top 10, take your picks. It's Gayman and Belleville on the front row. Green flag back in the air. We're racing once again at the Brickyard. 2 to go. How bad is it going to be? And it's going to be horrible. Oh dear. Would not be surprised if that's a yellow. Alexander, Smeal. There's a lot of cars spun around backwards here. That's Smeal, Alexander, Catania, Ray. Dustin Painter was involved. There's Thomas Andrews still struggling well off in the corner. Bradley Wright. Oh, Bradley Wright's had a lot of issues. That was a hard impact to the driver's side. Steer struggling. Doing up for the spot the home brink. Oh dear. That was a wild one. But an easy restart for Josh Gayman. We'll let him do this. Out of the final corner. White flag is in the air. 1 lap to go at the Brickyard. 2.6 miles separates Gayman from his 4th win of the season. Belleville can only watch. Down home in Boulevard. 2.6 seconds. Gayman just has to bring it home. out of the short chute through the motorcycle chicane for the last time. One corner to go. Joshua Gaiman, once again a race winner. He'll take Indianapolis. 4th win of the season. Belleville on the podium once again, and Tommy Reynolds finishing 3rd. Friendly nudge there by his fellow podium finishers there. Class act. There's Jacob Blankenship, the points leader, recognizing a genuine competitor, a genuine threat for the title when the playoffs begin at the end of August. Another bump draft there by Cody Pennell. Again, everyone recognizing that this was a phenomenal drive by him. Despite the odds, like, could have easily gone wrong in any of those restarts, and it didn't. Really good job by Joshua Gaiman on his 4th win of the season. Phenomenal stuff by Joshua Gaiman. Gonna take the oval turn 1 here. This means he's ready to burn it down at some point. Waiting for it. There's the burnout. Joshua Gaiman, race winner here at Indianapolis. We'll hear from him in just a minute. Again, a phenomenal race by Joshua Gaiman on his 4th win of the season. Noah Belleville in 2nd. Tommy Reynolds rounds out the podium here. We'll see if we can get any of them in for an interview here, because they did phenomenal stuff today. While we wait to see if anyone's going to be interested in doing a post-race interview, we're going to go over the full race results. Race 22 in the books. 4 races left in the regular season. Joshua Gaiman rounds out the top of the field. He wins his 4th race of the season. Absolutely calculated. Most laps led. Fastest lap of the race. Phenomenal drive by the 61 to win here at the Brickyard. Noah Belleville, another podium, adding to his collection from what he got at Richmond when he first came back, all the way back in April. Tommy Reynolds, another podium on a road course, 3rd place. Was an interesting battle between him and Noah there at the end, especially on that restart. Tommy thought he had it, but Belleville was able to eke it out and take 2nd from him. Still a good podium result there for Reynolds for Team Sideswipe. Jacob Blankenship finished 4th, our championship leader. Another top 5 finish, keeping that consistency alive. It's the reason why he's got 60 points in hand compared to everyone else in the regular season championship. Cody Pennell finished top 5, giving Team Sideswipe 2 cars in the top 5. Bren Roberts in 6th. Toby Estes in 7th. Nicholas Seigler in 8th place on his debut. A really good run for him on debut. Brandon Fetterplace finished 9th. Joshua Garrison rounding out a top 10 for that number 46 machine. Really good run for him. Nick Pressey recovered to 11th place, dropped down to 20th after a bad spin in the S's on the back straightaway. Recovers to 11th with the chaotic restart. Good run for that 94 on his first race of the season. Jonathan Homebrink will be behind him in 12th place. Seth Wanzing, up and down race for him. He was in the top 10, out of the top 10. Unfortunately, not the result he was looking for. 13th place for the 9 car at the end of today. Tom Sears equally frustrating. A race to forget for Tom Sears in number 14, the Team Outlaw driver, ahead of his teammate Donald Ray, 14th and 15th for both of them. Not what they wanted, but they already have race wins. They're already locked into the playoffs. So it's all about bonus points from here on out. How many can they get between now and the beginning of September? Dustin Painter make it 3 Outlaw drivers, 14th, 15th, and 16th. Painter was a very quiet day up until that last restart. Seemed to have just sneaked away without getting too often involved in any incidents. But a 16th place finish on the lead lap for the 65, ahead of Tristan Catania and Thomas Andrews, who finished 18th. Looking further on down at the rest of the grid, John Smeal, 19th, 20th for Jason Alexander. He was the last car on the lead lap. Then you have Briley Wright, Kevin Feemster, Jeremy Breo, Terry Gabbard, Nicholas Fisher, Tommy Withers, and Patrick Allen rounding out the field of 27 that took the start. Ryan Pinnell did not start this race. He was actively serving his suspension from the events that took place at New Hampshire 2 weeks ago. But that is the field of 27 that scored points, plus the suspended Ryan Pinnell. See if we can get any interviews going here. We are going to have a couple. Alrighty. We're going to start first with the race winner, Joshua Gaiman. Josh, this is Clayton from the RX Racing booth. You got a copy?
I got you.
Alrighty. We know you're good at this. 4 race wins. 3 since you've gotten 2-1-3 somewhere on your car. So, lucky stars on that one. It was a wild race, but it was a pretty clean race. Was that what we were kind of? Was that what you're kind of anticipating, or what all were you kind of expecting today, and how did it all play out for you?
I definitely wasn't expecting a clean race after watching the end of the real race. I figured it would go like that every lap, but it didn't. And me and Belleville had 2-3 laps there. We were side by side for most of the lap. I don't know. Maybe some real drivers need to go back and watch this broadcast or something. Maybe they can learn. Right. But yeah, it was really fun once I figured the track out and got the brakes situated to the point that they would actually work. It was the track just got more fun as I got more used to it. So I went from hating it to just disliking it slightly.
So the first, you were obviously involved in a lot of battles there, like your battle with Belleville in stage 1, your battle with Breo in stage 2, then you kind of had to battle against circumstance and timing in stage 3 more than anything else. You said you despise the track, and now you're like, I still don't like it, but I can tolerate it. I guess I asked this little caveat. Which track do you dislike more, Coda or here?
Oh, this 100%. Coda's fun as hell. I love Coda. I think it's a great track. I understand like the hate from the stock car crowd, but I don't understand hate from the open wheel crowd at all, because that track is so much fun to drive with like higher downforce cars and stuff. This track is awful.
All right, so you're not normal. Understood. So fuel strategy. So obviously with stage 3, fuel strategy kind of went out the window. With those 2 called cautions at the end of the race. But had those cautions not been called, how close would it have been on fuel? Because it seemed like people were kind of, are we gonna pit or not? Like, what was the fuel mileage like?
I would have been under a lap to go. I probably would not have made the burnout. Luckily we had 2 cautions there. Otherwise, I don't know. It was if I had to, I would have splashed like a gallon in it. And then use my fast repair, because me and Donald had that contact, and it didn't really hurt the car. It felt weird for about 2-3 laps, but I think it's because I'd changed tires, and fresh tires were honestly just absolute crap for like 4 or 5 laps. So for a stage break, it didn't make sense to take tires. so I just didn't take tires.
So I have to look at the calendar because I'm like, what's coming up next? Because I'm just like, haha, Indianapolis, this is not gonna be great. And it's like, oh, never mind, this race is actually pretty good. Oh, Michigan next week. Uh-oh. That's been everyone's general consensus, is that Michigan's not going to be the greatest in the world. That being said, we also said we said that Pocono wasn't going to be great. We said that Indy Road Course wasn't going to be great. We said New Hampshire wasn't going to be great. And you did well at all of those. So at this point, you're sort of on that roll. Looking at Michigan, I'm not sure if you've had any practice at Michigan. Give us an idea as to what to expect going to Michigan next week. It is a 2-mile oval. I expect it to be very draft heavy. But are we expecting something like Fontana where there's multiple lanes, or is it like Pocono where it's like you got one lane, good luck?
I mean, with how different these cars are compared to everything else stock car related now, completely different suspension. The aero works backwards, because it's under the car. I'm gonna be honest, I don't know. I haven't really driven the next gen outside of this league, other than I think I did one fixed setup race for this race tonight. So it's the first race I've actually practiced for outside of the 2-hour practice session before the race. That probably just made 7, 8, 9, 10 people angry in the league, but sorry. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's going to be a little mix of Fontana with a little bit of maybe, like Atlanta, where you had to lift halfway through the run a little bit, but you're still in a pack. So it's going to be a bit of a hybrid, I think.
Well, hopefully it's at least as clean as this race was. Because outside of the restarts, this race was actually really phenomenal. Before we let you go, obviously didn't really have a lot of breaks there until the end, so you've kind of had the chance to kind of really settle into a groove. But before I let you go for the night, obviously 213 Simwars on the car once again. That blue and yellow, can't miss it. There were 3 cars in the field tonight with Tom Sears and Joshua Garrison also running 213 somewhere, so way to represent. But if there's anyone you want to shout out, the floor is yours, man. Congrats on your 4th win of the season. You're just one behind Breo. So you could easily match him or get more bonus points than him going into the playoffs, which is insane.
Yeah, obviously a huge shout out to 213 Somewhere for coming on the car. And like you said, man, like 3 wins since they've come on the car, and it hasn't even been that long. I think it's only been like 2 months or so, which is just awesome to just start pulling off wins and get momentum throughout the season. The admins did a good job with accidental button presses, but luckily that situation was handled professionally. So, things happen. I get it. Buttons are on wheels, and you tend to just monkey palm your steering wheel when you're trying to save the car to do whatever you can. It happens. I don't really blame them. It's whatever. I still got the win, so that's awesome. Your broadcasts are always fun to have on the side to know what's going on throughout the field. So big thanks for that. And yeah, seeing more 213 cars out there. Tom's actually the one that I figured out what the heck it was. I just saw his car all the time, and I was just like, oh, that's neat. And I went and followed him on Twitter, and here we are.
Well, again, congrats on your 4th race win of the season. Road America, New Hampshire, Indy Road Course. So that's 3 and 5. Just kind of throwing that out there. You didn't win Atlanta. You didn't win Pocono. Then you have Michigan, and I think it's Richmond after that. I think. Like if I look at I can't believe I'm looking this up. What race is after Michigan? Because this is insane. Like you're winning like every other race. So trends say Michigan may not be yeah, it is Richmond. Are you good at Richmond?
I like the track. Might take me a little bit to get up to speed there. I'm hit and miss there. We'll say I'm hit and miss. So hopefully a hit.
Well, the trends say you'll win Richmond and Daytona. With how everything's going right now, like the last 5 races, you've won 3. So it looks like Richmond and Daytona, we get to kind of pick your brain a little bit because those are the next ones in line to win.
I hope I can win Daytona. That'd be like the first time ever, I think.
Yeah, play tracks. It's anyone's game. So yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think anyone's outside of a shot. But again, congrats on the first race win of the season. Obviously, well earned. You were class at the field today, and we'll keep an eye on you and see how you do at Michigan.
Thank you.
That was Josh Gaiman, our race winner. We still got 2 more people to interview tonight. We're going to start off with our second place finisher, Noah Belleville, here in just a second. Noah, this is Clayton from the RX Racing booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Alrighty. That was an interesting race. You kind of had to come back to the field a couple times. But really good battling there between you and Gaiman, you and Breo and Reynolds there at the end. Walk us through your race. Obviously, strategy was a bit lopsided for everybody today. No one, I think, really was sure what was going on. Just sort of walk through it.
Oh, hold on. Hey.
Give him a second here.
All right. Yeah, so started well. I got 4th. Looked like on that initial start, Gaiman and I think it was Estes got together, but I don't know, somehow I got the lead, which was kind of nice. But Gaiman was miles faster than me, but it was pretty hard to pass, and I managed to hold him off, and that was probably the hardest I've ever ran a car to keep it in first there to win that stage. But it was definitely fun. I was sweating. And yeah, going down in the pits for stage 2, I passed the pace car, which I even checked up trying to not do that, and I just couldn't see where it was. And yeah, so got a penalty for passing the pace car, which kind of sucked. I was the guinea pig for everyone because after that, everyone knew not to do it. So restarted stage 2 P20, got all the way back up to P5, so that was pretty good. So 1st and 5th in the stages, got some good points, which is helpful because I'm trying to get the 26th in the standings for the playoffs.
Yeah.
And yeah, after that, just kind of kept it clean in stage 3. Never could catch Gaiman. I didn't understand how he was that fast. I mean, I was pushing it hard, and he was a second a lap faster, it felt like. So it was a battle for P2. Had a good battle there with Brielle. Got around him on the restart. Then he got me back. Then he messed up the kink, and I got him back. Then he accidentally threw a caution with this button mapping. So that was unfortunate. But yeah, so good race overall. Glad with the P2. Still looking for that win, though. But at least I finally had a nice, clean day. Felt nice.
Yeah, I mean, Michigan's up next. I mean, you looked really good at Richmond, which is after Michigan. So a couple really good chances to probably get into that win column if you're trying to get into it. Obviously, you finished 3rd at Richmond when we last went there in the spring, back in April. So a good return there for you, probably on the cards, especially with the card now. I think a lot better, I think, in everyone's eyes compared to what we saw back in April. But the next 2 races coming up, Richmond on the 14th, Michigan on the 7th, getting closer to the chase, gonna start getting a little bit more wild. Any idea kind of what we're expecting here going into these next couple races? Because it's a huge shift from a road course to almost super speedway to a short oval.
Yeah, Michigan's gonna be a hard one to win because that one's gonna race kind of like the trucks did last night. It's gonna be a pack race, and those are always tough to win. So if I do get Michigan, that'll be definitely a surprise. But yeah, definitely looking to get one at Richmond. Richmond's always been one of my better tracks, even when we were in Heat 5. It's where I got my first win in this league. So looking to go back to Richmond and have a good run. Hopefully that could be where I seal my playoff spot with a win. But yeah, definitely looking for a win to get into the playoffs.
Well, you definitely have the pace to do it. You definitely have the talent to do it, despite the fact that you're on a controller, showing that you can kind of do it no matter what. Before we let you go, we had some people watching for you. But if there's anyone you want to shout out, you did a phenomenal job. Your battle with Game at the beginning was absolutely brilliant. So more of that, please. But if there's anyone you want to shout out, the floor is yours. Congrats on the podium. The 2nd place, nothing to laugh at there.
Yeah, shout out to you for putting on the stream as always appreciated. Shout out to Gaiman for being unbelievably fast, which is he's an alien. Shout out to grandparents for always watching the races. Shout out to my dad. Apparently, he watched the race from my account. So if you saw me texting in the chat, that was probably my dad. Um, and just shout out to all these guys at Arcs for putting these races on. I enjoy them and starting to run a few more races now, and a lot of fun. Looking forward to, I believe next might do Indy Arcs at Nashville. So
Yeah, that is on Wednesday. Yep.
Yep, probably gonna be my next race. So looking forward to that. Love what you got going on over there, and yeah, having fun.
Well, we're more than happy to have you on Wednesday nights. Again, love seeing you on Sunday nights. You're always fun to watch. Always fun seeing how you handle everything. And really good battling. You were put on a show there. But we'll see you at Michigan. Good luck there. Let's see if you can get a win and lock yourself into the playoffs, because there's still a few spots left if you're going to do it. So now's the time. So,
Yeah.
but again, congratulations on the second place finish. Well earned. We'll see you Wednesday and on next week.
Yep. All right. Thank you.
Have a good night, man.
You too.
All right, that was Noah Bill for our second place finisher. For everyone watching, supporting him, did a phenomenal job tonight. Absolutely class act on the number 41 machine. Love watching him. He does some amazing stuff despite not having the same equipment as everyone else. Definitely phenomenal stuff. We have one more interview tonight before we let everyone go on this Sunday evening. We're going to talk to third place, Tommy Reynolds, here at Indianapolis. Hey, Tommy, this is Clayton from the Arcs Racing booth. You got a copy?
I gotcha.
Alrighty. Not the most straightforward race for you, but a third place on the road here. Obviously, you're definitely really good at road courses. I don't think anyone that's watched any of these races beforehand will kind of know that you want a Sonoma to lock yourself into the playoffs. A third place here, having to kind of walk up through the field a little bit. Just kind of walk us through it, because it seemed like some people had trouble passing, but then some people made it easy. Sort of what was going on there throughout the field as you were kind of making your way forward?
It honestly, I think it really depended on what you had your brake settings at, because if you had your brake settings just slightly wrong, it caused a whole world of trouble. So you kind of had to mess with the settings beforehand and figure it out. But a lot of the passing happened into the two big braking zones, or at least that's where I did my passing. But I mean, it really depended on how confident you were with your brakes.
So, sort of walking through, looking at it, you gained 3 spots. You started in, I believe, 6th. I believe I'm correct.
Yeah.
You had to fight against your teammates a decent amount. Cody Pennell, Jeremy Breo was there. Seth Wansing was with you there for a little bit. Strategy was a bit out of the way. So everyone sort of had a different philosophy, either pit or don't pit, tires or not. Did you have a process going into the stage breaks at least? Like, what were you looking for each stage break? Because it seemed like some people took tires and were happy, whereas some people were just unhappy no matter what.
Nope, not a clue. I mean, it was really just a guessing game, because I didn't know what anybody else had done. I didn't do a lot of practice this week. If you like, the tire wear wasn't that bad. By the end I hadn't pit since the start of stage 3, and my tires were still at 96, basically the whole way around. So I mean, tire wear wasn't a huge factor, but if we stayed green there after before the first caution at stage 3, I think fuel might have come into play for a couple people, but there wasn't really much strategy. You almost could make the 2 stages with a full tank of fuel. So I mean, tires kind of mattered, but that was about it.
Yeah, Gaiman said that the field was close for him. Like, if there hadn't been a caution now, like, he probably might not have made it. So I guess lucky him that we did have those 2 cautions at the end to get to the finish. Obviously, this isn't the easiest track to pass. Obviously, 2 braking zones, it's a stock car. Like, the momentum you get so marginal. But the next couple races going to be completely different. You have Michigan next week. You have Richmond after that. So we go from a very different road course to a almost super speedway to a short oval. Not sure if you're racing those races or not, but if you are, any idea on what you're kind of expecting, what you have to prepare for going into those two races?
I'm not a short track guy, I'm gonna be honest with you. Richmond especially is not my kind of track. I think Michigan will be better for me just because there's a lot more drafting and you can get a lot more runs going.
You thrive on chaos is what you do.
Huh?
You thrive on chaos is what you do.
I have no idea what that means.
You thrive on chaos. You thrive on more pack
Yes,
racing environments.
sorry. Oh my god. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know how much pack racing Michigan is going to be. I've heard a lot of different things from
That's what sort of I'm
testing.
getting.
Yeah,
I'm hearing everyone say, "Oh, it's like Pocono," or like, "Oh, it's like Fontana."
yeah,
is
I've
two
heard,
different
I've heard
things.
that, and I don't know. I still have to test there. I haven't ran a lap with the updated car there, so Daytona will be messy. But yeah, I'm kind of just happy with third. It helps me stay above the 20th for the cut line.
cut line, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, obviously third place. After starting sixth, very consistent day. Before we let you go, obviously you battle your teammates all race long. Team Sideswipe, a really massive team. Seems to be. It seems like it was a period of time where it was just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. But a lot of people over there. But if there's anyone you want to shout out, the floor is yours. Third place, another podium for you. We don't get to see you as often as maybe all of us would like to see it, but whenever we see you, you're always either top 5 or podium. So not a bad look there. But if there's anyone you want to shout out, the floor is yours. Congrats on a P3 here at Indy.
Thank you. I would like to thank Smeo Racing Designs and thank you for Airmark for sponsoring me again.
Alrighty, Tommy. Well, we'll see you if we see you in Michigan. Good luck. If not, then hopefully we see you at some point before the end of the regular season. See what you can do. See if you can get some more bonus points there going into the playoffs. But again, congrats on the podium, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah, thank you. I hope I see you again soon too.
Right? Have a good night, man.
All right, thank you.
That was Tommy Reynolds, our third place finisher, rounding out the podium interviews tonight. Gaiman again, race winner that's on the left-hand side of your screen, the 61. 4 race wins on the season. Noah Belleville in second. Tommy Reynolds in third with Blankenship, Pinnell, Roberts, Estes, Siegler, Fetter Place, and Garrison rounding out the top 10. Next week, it's Michigan. It's Michigan, then Richmond, then Watkins Glen and Daytona to round out the regular season. 4 races left in the regular season, and then the playoffs begin. For everyone here, on behalf of Darkside Mustangs, Midwest Barbecue, Wendy Chevrolet, and Smil Racing Designs, on behalf of the ARCS community and ARCS Racing Networks, I'm Clayton Hardy. Thank you all for spending your Sunday evening with us. We'll see you at Michigan